Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bashim Mashiach H.O.I. Free Zabach.
Brother Nala.
Brother Nala on the camera. And once again, it's on. Coming back at you with another movie review. And what we doing tonight?
A Knock at the Cabin.
A Knock at the Cabin. Long overdue.
Right.
Been a while for a nice movie review. Good Sunday night to do it. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Right? Everybody distracted with the game and everything. So, you know, good night to do the review. The weather's not bad in New York. You know, we can do a nice review outside. And this one was pretty interesting. Right? I gotta be like, remember the movie Bamboozle?
Right.
With what's the yo white boy?
Michael Rappaport.
Michael Rappaport. Remember he told Damon Wayans, yo Daylight, you dug deep on this one.
Right,
So now lie, you dug deep on this one. I don't know how this review got by me. Right. But honestly I haven't been keeping up with the movies in the theaters as much lately. Right. Only because there's so much content on the Fire Stick and all that now. Right. And cable and everything, you know, it's just so much, and then you can actually get movies in real time. You got to pay a hell of a lot for them. So, I think the last movie I saw was Whitney Houston, and I don't remember seeing this preview. Maybe I saw another movie that I just kind of slipped my mind. But you dug deep on this one now. So, A Knock at the Cabin. So basically, we're gonna go right into it. This movie is based upon. Once again, we just always gotta go there. The LGBTQ agenda is just in every goddamn thing now. They just not gonna let that thing. It's just Esau, the Illuminati, and this one. They're determined to make the damn spirit of Sodom part of the modern world and the future world. Like if they can push that damn thing into the kingdom, they will. Right. Into the Most High's kingdom. And I'm gonna go into that. I'm gonna show you how they trying to do that. But that LGBT
instead of border of blue, they'll have a rainbow color.
Yeah, they'll have a border of rainbow with their fringes on it, man. They are pushing this damn agenda. So the premise of the movie, spoiler alert, for those that see in the first few minutes of this movie, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie as of yet, but it's only about a week old, right?
Yeah.
It's only been out since last Friday. Right. I think it came out the 3rd. Right. So today is the 12th, right? So it's been out about a week and 2 days. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, go watch the movie first. So when you come back and see our review, you can see how we lined up everything. This movie is straight biblical. It's straight apocalyptic. It's straight judgment day. It's straight judgment of the Most High. The end of this wicked world. Right? They don't really go into the new kingdom to come, but they do in a slight way, right? So, and we're gonna address all of that. So first and foremost, you have this gay couple, Eric and Andrew, right? And they have a Asian, or I guess Chinese, adopted daughter, right? So this is your new age family in this world and society, right? The gay white men as a couple with the adopted Oriental daughter. And we're gonna go into that dynamic in a minute. All right, so when you check it out, what I peep from that is even how society is now with even Brother Tariq goes into that, how they cupcake into these Asians. Right. You see how Esau, this society is cupcake into these Asians. Right. So a gay white couple, two men, gay white couple with an Oriental Chinese daughter that they adopted. So that's the family dynamic. Right. And like the brother brought out a good point, they're using these Asians as a buffer. Right. Like really, ever since the so-called Stop Asian Hate movement, when they were taking random images of black men around New York City, having them just punch Asians out of nowhere because they're saying all the protection and rights given to the Asians so we don't have to give it to the blacks. Right. Right. And they're even doing it through Hollywood. Oh, the good American gay white couple, they go to China and they adopt this little Asian baby. Right. Knowing that China has a humanitarian and population crisis. Right. So it's like cupcaking to Moab and the Asians in the movie. Right. But it's backfiring because when you check it out, look, there were two mass shootings in California. Right. By elder Asian men. So you can't blame that because they was trying to say all the violence was against blacks against Asians. Right. But the Most High set it up. On their Chinese Lunar New Year, there was two violent shootings Well, in the first shooting, 11 people got killed, and then the gunman, I think he killed themselves. And then in the other one, 7 people got killed.
Right.
Slovakia. These were all Asians, and they were elder Asian men.
Right.
So the narrative of the blacks being violent against the Asians, it backfired on them.
Right.
See, that backfired.
Right.
And now, Slovakia, say you trying to mess with me and make me call.
I know, cuz.
Ever since we started speaking fine,
right.
As soon as we doing a review, he tried to mess with me. Right? Should have got some tea or something. But anyway, when you check it out, that narrative backfired on him. You know what I'm saying? So now I see even through movies, and it's like that future of the world and that the future American family can be LGBTQ and we can all be mixed in, but they're like cupcaking in China.
Right.
Also, when you check it out, America's kind of cupcaking and soft shoeing to China, because that third world wasn't yet.
Right.
Notice recently they got these spy balloons they had to shoot down, and all this tension between Asia and China and America. So it's kind of like they can't avoid the third world war and the destruction and the apocalypse, but they kind of doing this soft shoe thing with China and the Asians, using them as a buffer against us, and also we don't want that World War III smoke. But you're not going to stop it, because the Most High will bring it regardless. Right, so I noticed that dynamic in it. So the whole, when you check it out, the movie is basically a knock at the cabin. Right. So these 4, turn out that these 2 men and 2 women represent the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. We're gonna get into that in a minute, but everything was based upon stopping the apocalypse. Right. Basically, they were quoting out of the book of Revelation. They were like quoting from like the New World Translation and other translations, but I get the gist. They was quoting from Revelation's 6th chapter, the different chapters in Revelation. I caught what they were saying. They were saying that it was worded differently from the King James Version, but I get the gist of what they were saying. They were quoting from chapters in Revelation, which the word revelation in the Greek is apocalypsis, all right, or apocalypse in the English, all right? The final battle between good and evil and the destruction of this world. So everything, like we always talk about, all these end of the world movies is based upon avoiding the apocalypse, avoiding basically the book of Revelation, because from the Greek apocalypsis, it means an appearing or an unveiling, meaning what was happening, the prophecies of the end of the world was being manifest to John on the out of the Patmos. Actually, it was throughout different periods of time, but it was also leading up to the last days. Because basically, by the time you get to Revelation chapter 22, which is the final chapter, H.O.I is basically telling Israel, hold fast, endure to the end, because in the end you're going to get the kingdom. But in all the other chapters 1 through 21, it goes through all the different periods of history and to the final destruction of this world as we know it. Esau's kingdom, the destruction of the Illuminati, so-called Edomite government, world power, so on and so forth. So everything, when you check it out nowadays, is based upon avoiding the apocalypse, avoiding the second coming of Yahweh and the destroying of this earth. Right. So next point. When 4 so-called horsemen, Sabrina, I forget all their names. They had the black woman.
Sabrina, Redman, Esau.
Redman, Esau.
And he's a redhead too.
Exactly.
Ruddy.
Eve can represent the black horse. He represents the red horse. The other young girl, I forget her name, because she was supposed to be like pure or whatever. She can kind of represent the white horse. They all represented like one of the 4 horsemen. But when you look at deeper into the symbolism, I see how they were like labeling them the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So everything is based upon the apocalypse. But when they were telling a gay couple, Eric and Andrew and a girl, one of y'all have to be sacrificed to avoid the apocalypse. I believe something that Andrew said, all right? Andrew was a little bit more vocal than Eric, and I'm going to show that dynamic also. But the sodomite, out of the 2 sodomite, the sodomite couple, Andrew, he made a statement to them when they were talking about you have to you know, one of y'all has to die to avoid the apocalypse. He said, and they start going into the doomsday prophecy and what was going to basically happen. What was going to start happening on the earth.
Right.
And I peeped what he said. He said, you sound like those doomsday fake preachers that we see on the corners in every city. That's Israel. He's talking about Israel.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Because nobody's out on the streets of America.
Who's preaching doomsday harder than Israel? Yeah.
Right. Nobody's out on the street like us no more.
Right.
With the Christians, these other groups are out there, but notice he said on every corner.
Right.
There's Israelite camps everywhere now.
Right.
We in the hood, we in a major city. In Times Square last night, there were 3 camps alone. In Times Square last night. Sakari was out there. They were down on their usual spot on 45th and Broadway where we used to be. They be directly almost right there where we used to be. AOC was right there on 44th and Broadway in their normal spot. And we was in our new spot, you know, we had for a couple of years.
Right.
Between 42nd and 43rd.
Right.
So it was literally 3 camps in Times Square. So by the time people got to us, they were like, there's some of you other guys down there too.
Right.
So I say that to say they talk about Israel, man.
Right.
It said those doomsday fake preachers on every corner in every city that you see on every corner in every city.
Right.
That's talking about Israel.
Right.
But of course they ain't gonna come out and say us.
Right.
Because brothers have camps all over the place. And it's so many different camps that it floods up the streets of the country.
Right.
And other parts of the world. Right, so I peeped that in there. They threw a shot at Israel.
Right.
All right. Next point I saw, M. Night Shyamalan, he was actually in a movie.
Right, yeah.
He played in an infomercial. And notice what he was promoting. Fried chicken.
Yeah,
So it was subtle mockery. Like always, man, you can't make this up. It's always the same thing. It's that subtle mockery of Jake and Eve.
Right.
And notice the black man wasn't really in the movie.
There was no main character that was black.
There was no male black man character in the movie.
The only side character, he was a reporter. But
he was a reporter.
He was in there for 10 seconds. That don't
but
even
notice,
count.
it's always that dynamic.
Right.
A future world without the black man.
Right.
And the black woman.
Right.
Because the one that plays Sabrina, she's a Hamite.
Right.
She's a Hamite in real life. She's Nigerian.
Right.
I think her name is Anuka Bird. Nikki Anuka.
Nikki Amuka, something like that.
Nikki Amuka Bird.
I think she married a Jake.
I think she married a Jake.
And then his last name is Bird.
And his last name is Bird, yeah. Right, she probably married a Jake.
Or Edomite. Or Edomite.
Like Larry Bird.
Larry Bird. That's Larry Bird's son.
Is Nikki Amuka Bird.
So Ham is in the house as always.
Ham is the new Judah, as always. So really, just like you can't make this up, man. Right? The more things change, the more they stay the same. Just like we talk about the Jehovah Witness tracks. And I noticed from years ago when I was getting them, whenever they would show images of the kingdom of heaven, they would have Ham there, but no Judah. They would have like some black people, and of course, the Watchtower going to say that's not racist. You blacks come from Africa.
Right.
No. They know the so-called black American and the African is 2 different people, right? So that's why they would always have on the Jehovah Witness tracks, whenever they had an image of the future kingdom, they would have a Hamite couple, but you wouldn't see a Judite couple. Right. You would see a black man and woman, but they would have African garb.
Right.
That's basically that kingdom without Jake. Right. We y'all niggas put a bunch of fried chicken niggas.
Y'all gonna burn up in the apocalypse.
Y'all gonna burn up in the apocalypse.
And we'll keep the Africans.
Die. We want a future without,
without that Judah spirit. And Benjamin too.
You know what I'm saying? That Yoda. Star Wars.
Right.
But they also mocked because the Nigerian actress, she played a black American woman. Right. She was basically from LA. She's from I'm from South California. That's LA.
Yeah, that's LA, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So she basically played, her name was Sabrina. Right. It looked like an Eve name. Yeah. But notice when Andrew was saying all 4 of y'all, because they thought they would just be an attack for being a gay couple. Right. They thought that this apocalypse wasn't really real, but that's what they was wishing in their mind. That's the spirit of Esau. Hopefully this apocalypse is not real. Right. But when they were trying to say, no, you guys are here because of your homophobia, and you want to just kill one of us because of your homophobia. So they said you took a guy that was homophobic, you took a girl that was religiously extremist.
Right.
What was the big Edomite name? Eric?
No, that wasn't. I forgot his name.
Jack?
Something like that. Yeah, like I forgot his name.
The big Edomite.
He's Batista in real life.
Batista.
His name is Dave Batista in real life, but I didn't know his character.
I forgot how they described him, but notice when they talked about Sabrina, the Hamite that played the Judite, they said you took a woman that was gullible and would believe anything.
Right.
That's Eve.
Right.
That's a mockery of Eve. Like it tells you in Jeremiah, my people have been lost sheep.
Right.
Right, their shepherds have led them astray.
Yeah.
Their leaders is Esau, the other nations, the doctrines of this world, and any lie that our people come up with. They're gullible. So that was a little insult to Eve. Right. Even though she's a Hamite, she played a
She's
Judite.
representing a
She's
Judite.
representing a Judite from basically from Los Angeles.
Right.
You know, so Eve from Los Angeles.
Right.
But when he broke all of them down, everybody else's description, even a white woman, he described her as a religious fanatic.
Right.
But when it came to him describing a black woman, she's gullible.
Right.
She's gullible, she'll believe anything.
Right.
So that's how they describe it, Eve. And so basically mockery against Jake and Eve.
Right.
I take it as the bucket of chicken is to mock the black man.
Right.
And the gullible, you know, my people have been lost sheep was to mock the black woman, but to mock us as a people in general. Right. Now notice, this movie came out in Black History Month. Right. The beginning, February 3rd. And M. Night Shyamalan made sure, because when you check it out, that scene didn't have to be in a movie.
Right, yeah. It was so random. Like,
it was so random.
He's there with a bucket of chicken, selling a bucket of chicken on the infomercial.
And remember, they had asked to change the channel from the cartoon.
Yeah.
They changed the channel, and here, that was just random. That scene didn't have to be in a movie. Right. But being they had a release date, they probably said, listen, since we releasing it in February, let's sneak a bucket of chicken.
Why ain't you have a pot of curry?
Right, exactly. Why ain't you have a pot of curry?
Curry chicken.
You know, curry goat or curry chicken. You know what I'm saying? It was and furthermore, they were frying the chicken and cutting it up. Yeah. Then they put it in the bucket. Right. And the bucket looked like a KFC bucket. Right. Notice the bucket had white and red stripes. So it was mockery. The movie coming out.
Elon trying to be funny. I tried to be funny.
Right. I want to mock the black movie also. Right. So that was mockery in there. Right. Now notice on February 1st, they had that school that for February 1st the menu was broccoli. It was broccoli and cheesesteak. Right. And they changed it to fried chicken, watermelon and waffles. Right. And that was February 1st, the first day of Black History. Right. M. Night Shyamalan's movie came out February 3rd. Right. The third day of Black History Month. So they line up that mockery against Jake. Right. That scene was just random. Yeah. Out of all things, you selling a bucket of chicken. Right.
When does an East Indian sell you fried chicken?
When does an East Indian sell you besides all the chicken joints?
Yeah. That's true too.
That's symbolic to that too.
Yeah, that's true too.
That Kennedy and Crown fried chicken.
Right. I didn't even think about it. I'm like, wait a minute, they do that.
Elon in there selling.
But they don't be eat. He put it as if he likes it. You know?
Right. They don't be eating it.
Yeah.
Right. So when the first Red Man, the Red Horse. The Red Horse of the Apocalypse, when they killed Redman, remember they told them, they told a gay couple and the little Chinese girl, if y'all don't sacrifice one of y'all, each one of us has to die till we're all dead. Right. And then if y'all got a few more minutes after we die and y'all don't sacrifice yourselves, then the world is going to end. Right. And there's only going to be 3 of y'all left. Right. And I'm going to get into that dynamic towards the end. The 3 of them being left, what does that symbolize? Right. So he said, okay, since y'all didn't sacrifice yourself, now the first plague is unleashed, which was the earthquakes. Now what's been happening in the earth lately? It's almost as if this movie was damn planned. Right. It's almost as if, did they do some kind of damn nuclear explosion in Syria and Turkey to cause the earthquake to line up with this movie? Because the first plague was the earthquake. And we've been seeing there was an earthquake in Buffalo. Right. My daughter felt that way because she's in school up there. Right. There was an earthquake in California right before I flew back here to the East, right before I flew out to Chicago. Right. Because I stopped in Chicago for the 3-day weekend there before I came to New York. There was an earthquake in Cali, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm up studying. Right. Right. Then, bow, Syria and Turkey get hit. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that was the first plague because they said, listen, every time you say no, more destruction is going to start. Right. And that's the 7 vials and revelations. That's the 7 plagues the Most High going to bring on the earth. And that's also Jeremiah. Right. where the Most High said he going, I think it's Jeremiah 17, where he's going to bring double destruction.
Right.
Meaning prophecy upon prophecy. Right, and that's also Isaiah 29 and 6, 2nd Ezra 16 and 12. You know, we went into the earthquakes.
Right.
All right. He kept talking about doomsday in the movie.
Right.
Right. Now, when you go to 2nd Ezra, y'all know y'all can read the scriptures as you know, I'm just quoting them because there's a commentary. When you read 2nd Ezra 7 and 43, it tells you the day of doom shall be the end of this time.
Right.
Doomsday. Doomsday is literally in the Bible. The day of doom shall be the end of this time. Now, recently, they so-called moved the doomsday clock up. I think to like 90 seconds or 60 seconds, something like that. God damn it, if you leave it up to me, it's 10 seconds. but notice, they said every time y'all say no, it moves the apocalypse doomsday clock closer to 12, right? Because it's supposed to be 12 midnight or whatever, which represents doomsday. So it's like 11:58 now, some change, or 59, whatever. But recently in the media, they said they had, because of the tension with Ukraine, Russia, and China, and America, North Korea, and all the countries, they had moved the doomsday clock up closer. Right. All right, so Esau know he's on borrowed time. Right. And I seen Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra 7 and 43, the day of doom shall be the end of this time. Right. Hit doomsday. And they kept mentioning that throughout the movie. Right. Because Esau know his judgment, like Arnold Schwarzenegger said in Terminator 3, Judgment Day is inevitable. Right. He said you probably can slow it down, but you can't stop it. Right. It's inevitable. So Esau know his kingdom is going to end. You got to spin a narrative. Right. Verse 8, there's something. Point 8. There's something I just noticed also. Notice with Eric and Andrew. It seemed like they flew to China, to an orphanage in China, to adopt a little Chinese girl. Like I said, China has a humanitarian and population crisis. Right. So let's go over there, and that's soft shoeing to Asia through Hollywood also. Right. But notice when they went to the orphanage, they had to pretend to be brothers. Right. I think Eric had to pretend to be Andrew's brother-in-law. Right. They couldn't say they was a couple. Right. Because the Chinese even. Like, so that show you the sodomite spirit is going throughout the earth. Right. But even Hollywood knows some of these countries still don't go for that. Right. Remember when Obama tried to go to, I think it was Nigeria? Uganda. Uganda, one of them? Yeah. And the Ugandan president said, it's not even a topic of discussion.
He started laughing at that. That's silly.
Yo, the ham shut it. Then the man said, now let's go.
Let's go,
Because they had made a big party for Obama. The man said it's not even a topic of discussion. So it's just showing you the dynamics. Some of the countries still stand firm. Right. They had to pretend not to be a gay couple. Right. Because China would have told them, get the hell out of here. Right. We want this little Chinese girl to have a mother and a father. So I just still notice that dynamic in there, although the sodomy is Esau spreading it throughout the earth, but it's still certain parts of the earth that hold that integrity. And they had to show that through the movie. All right. Number 9 point. Now, Eve, she played, the Hamite actor that played the part of Eve, Sabrina. Notice, when she was talking to Eric, she was like, don't feel bad. I didn't believe in this stuff either. Right. She said, when I was a child, my mother took me to church, and I thought that was some weird fantasy stuff. I didn't believe in none of that stuff. She was saying she didn't believe in the Most High in the Bible. Right. But notice she said, when I started seeing the dreams and the visions, then I became a believer. Right. That's Joel chapter 2, verse 27 to about 32. Right. The Most High said he gonna pour out visions and dreams on all flesh. So even some of the non-believers are gonna be made believers. That's Habakkuk 1, 4, and 5 also. The Lord said, I'm a work in your day, even though you don't believe it, though it be told you and you don't believe it, I'm roughly paraphrasing, I'm going to work that work in your day. That's Habakkuk 1, 4, and 5. Right. That's also Romans 3, 3, and 4, for what if some did not believe. And that's kind of a mockery of our people. Right. Kind of like, our people don't believe in the Most High, they don't believe in the Word, they don't believe that the end is near. Like Eddie Murphy and the Golden Child, he didn't believe he was the chosen. Right. You know what I'm saying? So even though it was through a church But what does the church deal with? The Bible.
Right.
But she's like, I didn't believe in none of that stuff. Showing you kind of that mockery on Eve. Too.
Right, right.
But really not mockery, art imitating life. A lot of our people don't believe.
Yeah, they ain't believe it.
But although they don't believe, it's not gonna stop the Lord from being true.
Right.
All right. Let me see. There was another. I think I can forget the names. I think the white girl, her character was named Adrian.
It could have been something like that. I gotta.
Yeah, but remember, she made a statement. She said, if you guys don't do this, everything is gonna burn.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the book of Isaiah 24. The Lord said, what? The inhabitants of the earth shall be burned and few men left. Right? The Lord said he's going to burn up the earth. So basically she was like, you know, everything is going to burn. That's that World War III, nuclear destruction. Remember, you didn't come last night, but last night we were teaching in Times Square and an Edomite came by with a big sign saying World War III is coming.
Right.
Stop Biden or something like that. And it was so bad he jammed up traffic.
Wow.
You might can see it on a live video.
Yeah.
He jammed up traffic and the cars were beeping.
Wow.
People were stopping to look at his sign.
Yeah.
And you know, normally people have signs, and you do have that around. People have signs, the end is near, whatever the case may be. But I believe, in my most humble opinion, the traffic stopped because people are really starting to look now.
Right.
Like, yo, these spy balloons, this tension with Ukraine, because they were slowing down, looking at his sign, and some of them were looking like, damn, what if he's right? He had a big sign saying World War III is coming. Right. You know, is inevitable. Right. So basically, when she say everything gonna burn, that's not the destruction. All right. So they let you know the apocalypse is near. When you check it out, I think it was the second or the third plague. After they killed Sabrina. Because remember, they shot the black woman. The black woman dies in the movie. Right. Esau kills Eve. You know what I'm saying? Then once she died, the plague of the planes falling out the sky came. Right. Right. And what happened recently, you had, like I said, it's almost like they lined this movie up. Right. Recently, you had the last 4 days. You got all these unidentified aircrafts being shot down. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and some brothers said it's chariots and they trying to shoot down the spy chariot to the Most High. Esau can't shoot down. No, he couldn't shoot. He can't shoot down the Most High's chariots. And
he would have. They've been up there. He don't even attempt to do that.
Right. He don't even attempt. He can't.
He can't do it anyway.
You can't shoot down. Because I seen something somewhere. Brother said, oh, they shoot down the Most High spy chariots. No, hell no. Hell no. Esau, what they're doing is they're playing war games and spy games. Right. Like they had a movie called A Spy Game. Right. They're playing war and spy games because now Canada shot down some unidentified. Some other country said they seen some unidentified object over their state or whatever. Right. And what they're also doing, they're trying to downplay the chariot sighting. Right. That's what they're doing. They're trying to say these are manned spy chariots where people see real chariots. Right. So that's what and Esau, in his damn fantasy world, he's acting like he's shooting down the actual chariot. Right. But you're not, buddy boy. No. So we see through that, and
they can't even catch the chariots. Man.
And if and when that does happen, the Most High gonna be knocking these planes out of the sky. Right. Notice when that plague got unleashed, it said 700 planes fell out of the sky. They blamed it on a cyber attack. But it's gonna be them chariots in that day. Right. All right. So a couple more. Let me see. Now, when you check it out, right, towards the end now, Eric and Andrew, they realize, you know, they start believing. They said, wait a minute, if one of us don't sacrifice ourselves, humanity is going to die. Right. So basically, a homosexual white man is going to save the earth. Right. Just like Independence Day. That's like mockery. Independence, a drunk white man shoots his.
He said, I'm back.
He takes a plane and shoots it up into the chariot and destroys the mother chariot, and all the other chariots explode. Right. A drunk Edomite. He's so fantasized.
A drunk white trash Edomite.
Drunk white trash Edomite.
Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid, huh? Right. But remember, with Esau, everything is two-sided. Right. That's kind of mocking H.O.I in a sense. Right. Because remember, Remember, it said, it tell you in Hebrews, I don't even like this, make this comparison.
Right.
But in Hosea 12 and 10, the Most High said He's going to speak through similitude.
Right.
Which is comparison of things that happen in the world or prophecies, and we link it up to Scripture. And Scripture, precept upon precept.
Right.
Scriptures being similar to one another.
Right.
So, when you check it out, remember, Eric had to give his life to save the world.
Right.
What does the Scripture say? It's in St. John 1, I believe it's 29. It said, "Behold the Lamb of God, Yahweh, which taketh away the sins of the world." But that world was Israel. See, in this, he's almost playing like a reverse Yahweh figure.
Right.
As a homosexual white man, he's going to take the place of Yahweh and save all of humanity.
Right.
Now, when you read John 3:16,
as the living sacrifice.
As a living sacrifice, exactly. Yeah. And when you read John 3:16, it said, "For God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son."
Right.
But that world is Israel. This Edomite is playing. He's playing the Yahweh figure on the left-hand side.
Right.
So a gay white man is the Yahweh figure. Right, I don't even like to make the comparison, but you know what I mean. Don't get simple.
Don't get simple.
Don't get simple. But he's the reverse. Yeah. He's the Yahushua of humanity.
Right.
He's the Jesus Christ of humanity as a so-called gay white man. Right. And what is that pushing? What is how they trying to go deep with this thing? Right. They're trying to push that a gay white man should be seen as some kind of savior of this world. Right. And also, when you go deep, there's layers to this thing. Also, the homosexual couple with the adopted daughter, that's the future of society and humanity. Because remember, even though he died, Andrew lived and Wynn lived, and they moved on as as family. And pretty sure it's Hollywood, but pretty sure he got another damn homo lover. Right. So it's almost like that's the future of the world. Get used to it. That's the future of humanity. That's the future family of humanity. That's how much they pushing this damn sodomite agenda. So Eric turns into like this left-hand side Messiah type figure that's going to save humanity. Because it's a play on Yahweh being the savior of the world, but he's the savior of Israel. When you read Hebrews 9, it tells you, it says Yahweh came once to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. So everything was about sacrifice in the movie. Right. And remember, if they didn't sacrifice, then one of the four horsemen had to be sacrificed. Right. So that had that sacrifice element in it. But when you check it out, when you look on the flip side of that, it tells you in Romans 12 and 1. Hence where I got my Hebrew name from, Zabach, which means sacrifice. Remember, Paul said that we present our bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto the Most High, which is our reasonable service. So the righteous sacrifice on the right-hand side is Yahweh dying for Israel. The righteous sacrifice that we do in His kingdom is the work, the commandments, teaching our people, and giving ourselves, and basically put our life on the line to be sacrificed for the truth and righteousness, so we can get the kingdom. So it's a play on that. That's it's the left-hand side. That's all it is. So when you like when you check out the Grammys, it's all lining up. The Grammys have what? It opened up with the satanic scene. Sam Smith. But
Sam Haines.
But later on, it had Jay-Z with Khalid, DJ Khalid, or whoever the hell was up there with him. And they were acting as the 12 apostles. So everything has that righteous side and that left-hand side.
That duality.
And Esau played them against each other. Even with Eric and Andrew. Remember, the two first top disciples was Peter and Andrew. But they didn't name him Peter, it would have been too obvious. Now, Peter and Andrew, basically, saving the world was put on them. It was basically put on them. Which lines up with Yahweh, because Yahweh called Peter and Andrew first. Remember, he told Peter and Andrew in Matthew 4, "Follow me and I will make you fishers of men." So then remember, he said, "Peter, upon you I'm going to build this church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." So really, Yahweh filtered down the savior of the world basically to Peter and Andrew and his apostles. So Peter and Andrew, again, is a spin on the righteousness. His name was Eric. Like I said, he probably didn't name him Peter because it would have been too obvious.
Right.
If you'd have named him Peter, it would have been too obvious. But, and I remember, Andrew lived, but Eric died.
Right.
Eric, I believe, really supposed to be Peter.
Right.
That's supposed to be Andrew's brother, the two first disciples that Yahushua called.
Right.
And Peter, Eric would be like a representative of Yahushua,
right,
because Yahushua kind of made Peter the top disciple after he died.
Right.
So he's like taking on the figurehead of Yahushua,
right,
as the top disciple. And also, Peter was also crucified, but he was crucified upside down.
Right.
And he said, I'm not worthy to die of my Lord's death. Crucify me upside down. And Yahushua told him that he was going to be carried to his death. He prophesied that to him in St. John, and then Peter repeated it, I think, in 1 Peter.
Right.
So it's all a spin. It's all a duality. That's the perfect word you use. Right. It's all that left hand and right hand side.
Right.
And it lines up with the Grammys and everything, and how they had the opening scene with Satan.
Right.
And then they had Jay-Z play Yahushua and the 12 disciples.
Right.
So it's all lining up with the duality. I see what you devils are doing.
Right.
Right. Then my last point, I could go on and on. You know what I'm saying? I might think of something before when you come in. But my last point, last but not least, right? Another spin on a duality. The name of the movie is A Knock at the Cabin.
Right.
Right. And what do you knock on? A door.
Right.
Right now, when you check it out, what did Yahushua say in Revelation 3 and 20? All right, I got to read that one. Right. I'm going to read that one. I've been quoting, but I'm going to read it. I'm going to read that one. Check, this is the whole, one of the whole emphasis of the movie. Right, this is the duality on the left, on the flip side. Right, Yahushua said in Revelation 3 and 20, notice the movie is based upon a knock at the cabin door, and it's based on the apocalypse and the end. But the apocalypse and the end and the doomsday leads to what? It leads to the kingdom for the Israelites. All right, so now, Yahushua said this in Revelation 3 and 20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. Right. So that knock is on the righteous side too. Yahushua is knocking at the door. When we go out there and teach, Yahushua is knocking at our people's doors spiritually through us teaching them. Yahushua is telling Israel, I'm knocking at the door, let me in. Right. You understand? Let me in so you can receive the kingdom. They're saying let us in so you can prevent the apocalypse. But that's a spin on the duality of the righteous side of Yahushua saying let me in. Right? Revelation 3 and 20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. Notice, they said if you let us in and you do what we say, you basically sup with us, eat with us, and follow what we say, you'll save the world. Yahushua saying in righteousness, if you come and sup with me, sup just means eat like eat and drink. Like Jake said, nigga, you gotta be my peoples to eat with me. Basically, Yahushua saying, if you become my peoples, you can eat with me. Meaning what? You can get the kingdom of heaven. That's what he means, because he told the disciples in Matthew 26 to 31, I believe it is, right? This is all quoting this, where y'all can read the scriptures on your own. He told them, I will not eat and drink. I will not drink in his wine again with you till I do it in the kingdom. So the supping, supping, it literally means like to sip. Like to sip, like a liquid food or wine. So basically, Yahushua is saying, I'm going to sip wine with you. And where did he tell the disciples he going to do that at? In Matthew 26. But he said, I'm going to do it with you in a new kingdom. So basically, Yahushua is knocking. If you open the door to him, you can receive the kingdom. But on the duality left-hand side, they're saying, if you open the door to us, you can stop the apocalypse. But after the apocalypse is what? The Most High Yahushua's kingdom. Right, so as a play on that, let me read on. It says, to him that overcometh, will I grant to sit with me in the throne. Will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame, and am set down with my Father in his throne. He that have ear to hear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Right? That's in the red letters, right there, Revelation 3:20 to 22. In the script, in the Bible, of course. Right? So basically what Yahushua is saying, like I just brought out, he's saying if you overcome, if you open that door, if you let Yahushua in, if you're willing to go through the struggle, if you're willing to bear your cross, if you're willing to take on his work, if you're willing to sacrifice and give of yourself to teach this gospel and go through the sufferings we're going to go through in his kingdom and last days, you're going to get the kingdom of heaven. So it's that sacrifice, that duality of the sacrifice on the left-hand side, because they're saying If you open the door and you're willing to do what we say to you, you will stop, you will save the world. Basically, you will keep your kingdom.
Right.
Like H.O.I saying, if we come to him, if we open that door to him, we'll get our kingdom. If they open that door to them, they will save their kingdom. Right. So it's just a spin on the opening of the door with H.O.I. Right? With another precept, we don't have to get it, is Luke 12:37. To go in Revelation 3 and 20, it tells H.O.I talks about coming in and eating and drinking with his servants, but that's symbolic to the kingdom. Pursuant to Matthew 26-31, which was the Last Supper, hence come in and sup with you. Right. What was happening before H.O.I died? He had the Last Supper. Right. He had the Passover with the disciples, and that was the prelude to the kingdom. So it all ties in together. That's why we always say Hollywood knows the truth. Right. They have to know the scriptures and the Bible. They have to know the scriptures and the Bible in order for them to make these movies. Right. So M. Night Shyamalan, we see what you're doing. Right. There was a lot of blatant references to the end of the world and the apocalypse, and they tiptoed around trying to mention anything about Israel and us being the chosen and the new kingdom. Right. But they did make mockery of us. Right. With the and fried they did talk about the doomsday fake prophets on every corner in every city all around. You sound like one of them. Right. You know what I'm saying? So basically that's it for now. Right. If you want to come in with a few things, if I can think of anything in closing, I'll bring it up. But that's it for now. Right. I'm gonna watch this thing again, man. Right. It goes deep, and I'm gonna pull out and extract some more things up out of here. And I'll leave it at that. You can come in now, maybe I'll say one or two things in closing. God, I don't have too much to add because Elder Priest Zabach pretty much broke down. Like he said in the beginning, the movie's real blatant and cut and dry. It's blatant, yeah. So it's not too much deeper breakdown, but I will add a couple of things. Bring it out. If you notice how when anybody that's reverenced the Most High and reverenced the Bible always acknowledges that Sodom and Gomorrah, the big aspect of Sodom and Gomorrah was an off place, but the main aspect is the sodomy that went on Sodom and Gomorrah. That's why sodomy is named Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, the term sodomy is named after Sodom and Gomorrah. The Sodomites were there. Right. So if you notice, Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed by fire. It was like a mini apocalypse of Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed by the Most High for its wickedness. Right. And if you notice that, fast forward to now they're saying Sodomites could reverse it, can save the world. Just like the levy back of what you said. Exactly. Now you're saying instead of hellfire and brimstone, they can actually prevent it and still be Sodomite. Not prevent it in a way they repented from being Sodomites, but they repented but sacrificing somebody. Right. So it's all they taken the Bible and twisted it and make it to levy back of what you said. They make it to the left hand. See what it is? You could be a Sodomite, but you got to sacrifice either your husband or your daughter. Right. And then the earth won't end. It's like Esau, you really making evil stuff the redemptive by doing something evil. Right. So they made sure they picked the Sodomites to have now they're giving them the power of the Most High, that they control, they can stop the Most High even though they living against the Most High. So that's the most apparent thing about that movie, where you got two Sodomites and an Asian girl have the power to stop the apocalypse. And of course Jake is nowhere to be found. There's no representative. Of course, as you brought out, there's a representative of Eve, the African-American woman, and the character of Sabrina. She was a nurse from Southern California, Compton or somewhere, and they made her a nurse, like, oh, she's the healer. You know, because Eve got that knack to say, if you notice, she was bandaging him up, she was helping him with his head. So that's like Eve, you are a natural servant, you naturally going to take care of us. But of course, that's like the nannies and the housemaids. Right. Eve is that if she was to survive, damn it, you're gonna take care of her. Right, exactly. But they still killed the all. It still killed the all. It's like so the second little part I reckon it's a little thing, but when they went to China, they had a flashback of them going to China to adopt the girl. You notice they had a Cesar Borgia, aka Jesus, like kicking a ball with these Chinese kids. So they, in a sense, they're trying to throw the image of Christ up there. I feel like the image of Christ. Right. So yeah, that was that. And
The last thing I'll say is, when the apocalypse was supposed to, if they didn't make that sacrifice, because it's almost like going into the Bible where Abraham had to sacrifice his son, and then he was about to do it, but the Most High shut it down. The Most High was trying to prove his heart.
Oh yeah, God,
yeah.
God, how could I forget that?
Yeah. So they had that energy to it. Like, are you? Because you think about the totality of it. Obviously, it's the Most High they wanted a sacrifice, so you're dealing with the Most High.
Right.
Because who stopped? Okay, I committed the sacrifice. Then who gives the approval or disapproval of whether that was of the sacrifice? Have to be the Most High. So then that's going into Abraham. You know what I'm saying? Right. And okay, you went forth, except Abraham didn't have to do it. The Most High proved that he was going to do it. That was good enough for the Most High. You know. Right. So to the last but not least, let's say the apocalypse had to happen. You mean the last two? It was going to be if they didn't do the last sacrifice, the apocalypse would have happened, and the two sodomites and the Asian girl would be roaming the earth. They would be the last people on earth.
Right.
So that's another thing with putting them on a pedestal. Like, the last people on earth are two sodomites and the Asian. They somehow survived the like they're that special. Right. And he said, what draw you? Another thing is, he said, what drew you here? He said, the purity of your love, like the purity of their love, for their love. That's why they were chosen. Right. So another spin on the LGBTQ community, like, see, their love is pure. Right. So we'll give them that power to decide whether the earth ends or not. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right, so Esau and them, like, something else. They just constantly trying to rewrite this judgment that's going to happen. Right. So that's my you got to go see this movie. I'm going to watch it again, and Elder Zabach said he going to watch it again. We got to dig deeper into it, but we got the gist of it.
So a lot of good points that Nala brought out, and just to land me back, I'll land me back on like 2 points. Yeah, it's definitely, everything about this movie is definitely a spin, or the duality, like you said, to use the best term, a duality of the righteousness of the scriptures, because it was only 3 of them. So who was going to sacrifice? Right. You was going to either sacrifice, I say Peter and Andrew, right? Which is a spin, or Little Wind. Right. But Little Wind can also symbolize Isaac with Abraham. Right. Because you was either going to sacrifice the 2 men or the little girl. Right. So it's the same thing. It's the spinning around of the righteousness. And remember, when Abraham was willing to give Isaac, the Most High said, you become a friend of the Most High. Right. So by them willing to give the sacrifice, they become a friend of the Most High too, because he has mercy and saved the world. Right. So like you said, you're basically putting in like the pureness, the gay white man couple is the pureness of the future. Right. You turn it something sinful and disgusting in the eyes of the Most High, and you flipping it and making it pure and beautiful, and godly. Because when you check it out, that's really what society is on right now. Right. They saying, they saying the Chinese is taking over everything. Their economy is exceeding, and America's kind of kissing up to them, even though they flying damn spy balloons over America. And then you have the gay Edomite couple. Right. That's basically what's really being pushed. So the future of society, like you said, after all is said and done, all of humanity is wiped out, and it's 2 gay white men and a Chinese woman left. Right. So they're pushing that agenda, and basically what they're saying, basically, if there is to be an apocalypse and a new kingdom, that's all that's going to be. Right, God, unbelievable. And would it somehow, as the Chinese girl get older, one of the Sodomites decide, well, to keep humanity going, he would have to impregnate. He would have to. God. And you know what that goes back to Sodom and Gomorrah. Right. Because remember when Sodom and Gomorrah got burned up, Lot's daughters, Lot's 2 daughters, Moab, and Ammon. Right. Lot's that's a spin on Genesis 19. Yeah. Because it was Lot left and it was his 2 daughters. Right. That's a layer you just uncovered. Like, wait a minute. Yeah. Moab came out of that. All they did was spin that around. Yeah. They put Moab and 2 men. Right. Instead of it being Lot and 2 daughters, they put Moab and 2 men. Yeah. So one of those men would have to, that's why, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you going deep now. I gotta get my Michael
No,
Rappaport
it just came.
went deep.
When you just said it just came in my mind. I'm like, wait a minute. Moab came out of Sodom and Gomorrah due to Lot, from Lot and his daughters.
But remember, even in the end, when they saved the world, at the end, she was a grown-up woman now.
Right.
And remember, it was just them two together.
Yeah.
Almost like they were a couple.
Right.
Like, so to save humanity, I'm going to impregnate her and keep the secret.
Right. God.
Yo, that's a spin on Genesis 19.
Yeah, God.
Instead of it being Lot and the two daughters, is the two Edomite men. And if that was the scenario, but it was still kind of the scenario. Yeah. Because she was grown up as a woman. Right. And it almost looked, you know how, what they call Esau called it the male order bride. Right. Well, how a lot of these older Edomite men, they'll get these Asian women and these women from these foreign
especially
countries,
the Philippines,
and they'll fly them in and have them as their wives. So you know you can go into all kinds of layers with that thing. Yeah, but basically, I knock at the cabin, which is, you know, what do you knock on the door? Right,
and that could be a. That could be a pause too, a knock at the cabin.
Yeah,
that could be a pause too, but we'll leave that alone though. We'll leave that alone though.
but even H.O.I spoke about being the door in St. John 10. Right. And he said a man must enter through me. Right. If you enter some other way, you're like a thief and a robber. Right. Meaning you gotta go through H.O.I to receive that kingdom. Right. But they're saying you gotta let us come through the door so we can save this kingdom. Right. So and the whole movie is a spin, a left-hand spin on the righteousness of the scripture. That's all they did, is the duality of it. Right. The satanic duality. You open the Grammys with Satan, and then you have a scene of the 12 disciples. Right. Right. Good and evil. Like Yahweh said, what thou dwellest with Satan's seat is also. Right. Meaning Israel was in a Roman Empire back then. He was saying basically you dwell in a wicked kingdom. Right. Like America, we dwell in this wicked kingdom. Right. And on a twofold side of that, wherever righteousness is, evil going to be there also. Right. Where Satan is going to be right there. Right. Right. Until we tread him underfoot, like it says in Romans 16. Right. So we go on and on and on. Right. You know what I'm saying? As you keep going on, something pop up. Yeah. And I know once I watch it again, y'all know how we always do. Right. So A Knock at the Cabin by Shimmer Mashiach. M. Night Shyamalan, we see what you're doing, boy. And anybody could see it. It was like real blatant. Right, the movie was blatant. He really didn't hide anything. Right. Except for the fact that we gonna get the kingdom in the end. Right. He spent that around and said the Sodomites and the Asians get the kingdom in the end. Right. Anybody except Jake. Right. Because you know, if you look at it, society, like I brought out with China, some of society still don't like the Sodomites. Right. Then there is so-called Asian hate. Right. But anybody can get love and acceptance and be in a new world, but the black man.
Jake was left out of that whole deal.
Jake was left out, and a black woman was killed off. Right, by Shimmer Mashiach. So, A Knock at the Cabin. Which that can be a pause too, but we'll leave that alone.
Yeah, leave that alone.
All right, A Knock at the Cabin, movie commentary and review by Shimmer Mashiach. Priest Zabach.
Brother Nala.
So again, Israel, you know, check this movie out. Don't make simple comments. Yeah. Oh, you spent your money. You forgot about this. No, we did not forget. We just, again, like we say with every movie review, we got to say it. Right. The movie was what, about an hour and 40 minutes? Yeah. Hour and 30 minutes?
About that, yeah.
That can be like a 3-4 hour commentary. Right. Because we can sit and watch the movie and pick piece by piece.
Right. Scene by scene.
And commentary scene by scene.
Right.
So, like Martin said,
and if we miss something, like we always say,
shit is coming out.
Yeah, right.
Now you add, if we miss something,
you that.
You don't say you missed this, Elder. What about this part?
You off because you missed it.
And then a lot of times, y'all will watch the first 10 minutes of the review and say we missed something. And in the 20 minutes of the review, we spoke on that.
Right.
I see that many
times, yeah.
Right? So please don't do the simple comment of you spent your money because you niggas are spending your money on a Super Bowl tonight. I know y'all are. Right. So stop. Even a lot of y'all in Israel that's going to watch this review, you spending your damn money on a Super Bowl. Right. So don't make the simple comment about you spent your money for that movie. Yeah. It's just a movie. It's entertainment. Right. Just like you Negroes pay your cell phone bill to watch all kinds of folly on your social media and you pay for it every month, it's the same thing. So don't get simple, Israel. Keep it where it's at. Keep it educational, keep it instructive, and keep it righteous and humble. That's all. It's just a movie review. Add your 2 cents to your 100 cents in there and edify the whole thing. All right. So, you know, make your comments in the spirit, man, or whatever, and, you know, keep the folly out of it.
Right.
So once again, a knock at the cabin. It's a spin on H.O.I knocking at the door to bring Israel to righteousness and let us get the kingdom. You see what you're doing. M like Shalimar, another movie review, pre-Zabach.
Brother in Allah.
Right, another movie review from Zabach and Allah. We'll praise to H.O.I. We hope y'all get edified from this. If you learn one thing, we've done our job. All praise to H.O.I. Come Yashala, we still got next. Hallelujah. Shema Mashiach Yahushua.
Shema Mashiach.
Shalom.
Shalom.